Welcome to the EXCELcast. I'm Jonathan Kuuskoski, Assistant Director for Entrepreneurship and Career Services here at the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance. And today's episode, we have three special guests from Concert4aCause, Chris Grapentine, Kathryn Goodson, and Paul Clark, here to talk to us about the upcoming Concert4aCause 2016, which is a special year for it. It's the 20th edition, and you all have important artistic roles related to the event and its history. I want to start off with Kathryn. Can you tell us a little bit about what's special about this 20th edition of Concert4aCause?
Well, we're very excited to be once again collaborating with First Baptist Church, which we've been doing for a few years, so two churches, but we are also supporting the Jim Toy Community Center, which is an advocate for LGBT rights, and we're just very excited about that. We have an especially inclusive group of performers, including U of M students, staff, faculty, DSO players, MOT players, A2SO players, and more. And we're very excited about all of that. The Out Loud chorus, for example.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us, when is it going to take place? Where is it going to be? And where should people go to learn more about attending if they're interested in doing so?
It will be on Sunday, September 18th at 4 p.m. at Northside Community Church, which is at 929 Barton Drive. And we do have a website, Concert4aCause. It'll also be in the Observer. There'll be posters all over the place. There's a Facebook event page.
Great.
There's a Facebook page.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, it's exciting for us, and we're thrilled to have the chance to talk with you. Kathryn, we met, I think, when I started here at U of M last year.
Yes.
And I learned about Concert4aCause right from the beginning. And it has quite a storied history. So, and Chris, I know you've also been involved in Concert4aCause for a long time. Would love to learn more about the history of it, its origins, and your role.
Back in 2002, I actually became pastor at Northside.
I see.
And but I'm a School of Music graduate. I've had a professional singing career, and I got to know Kathryn, who's this wonderful pianist. And between the two of us, we said, well, we have all kinds of friends and who are performers. How can we use that to our advantage here? So we I thought of doing some kind of a concert where we'd bring in lots of people. Nobody would have to do too much, but everybody could do a little bit to help benefit some. I think our first concert that we thought of before we ever got to the idea of a series even was for the homeless shelter at Christmas time. And so we said, well, how can we use all of the talents that we have to benefit somebody else? Mm-hmm. So we got this idea of trying to collaborate between some social service agency in our community and the musicians and our church, which was Northside at the time, and try and put that all together for good, not only to raise money, mm-hmm. but also just to raise awareness about that group, to help them get their word out.
There's so many.
There's so many groups in town that a lot of people have never even heard of.
Right.
So over the years, we've tried to shine a light on that. And another side benefit is sometimes too, it really just helps those people to feel good, because somebody's noticing them. They work very hard with often very little, very little notice. So the fact that somebody is supporting them, and that we came to them and said, "Could we do this for you, with you?"
Yeah,
has been really helpful to them.
It's a joyous occasion, and we always have food, and we've made a point also from the beginning, but not mixing any religion intentionally into it. So it's just an event, a community event, but we as a church are offering it.
Right, and it sounds like inclusivity and diversity is also important. So one thing that may be self-evident, but I think it's important for those who are watching and listening to this. So Concert4aCause, you've had 20 editions of it. So how many different organizations have you helped, both through raising funds through these concerts and also through raising awareness about their mission and their needs?
We've had our 20th concert. We will have sponsored 19 different causes. We repeated one cause once, Samaritan Counseling Center. And we're going to start repeating some, we've decided. And before the series started officially, which was inspired by John Henchy at the Observer, who said, "Your series seems really random." So we gave it a title and started it. But before that, we did Hurricane Katrina, and we did several different ones like that. So we had other causes, or a little boy who was dying and did die, and his family. But then we decided local nonprofits, Concert for a Cause, and we will have in September sponsored 19.
Wow, that's amazing. So, in essence, this kind of collaborative effort involves musicians from the community and other people who want to participate. You serve, I guess, with a committee with other people that have joined in a collaborative effort to organize these events. And then you are you the point people who help identify the organization that this concert's going to benefit each year? How does that work? How do you choose both who you want to support and how to recruit the performers and the others that you need to make it happen?
Well, we have 5 or 6 people on the committee. At this point, both Northside Community Church and First Baptist are collaborators in this, and so we have people from both churches. I have left Northside as pastor. I retired, and I'm now attending First Baptist. So the 2 churches work together on that. The committee gets together, and sometimes it's because one of us has some personal relationship with one of these.
Like the George Shirley competition.
Yeah, it has some personal relationship with one of these organizations, and we say, I know this is a really good organization, but I don't think too many people know too much about it. And then a lot of times too, part of the thing that is really helpful is if the organization itself will really get on board, if they're excited about, what this can do for them. Their input and their willingness to help out in terms of publicity and things like that really makes a difference.
Absolutely.
So it's not just us doing it. We've had the experience a few times of us doing a concert for people, and they're kind of like, oh, gee, well, what's this? What's going on?
Maybe great at giving them expectations. My husband was mayor for a lot of this time since we were doing it. So he wouldn't say, oh, do that or that, but he knew a lot about different organizations.
Yes.
So he would give us.
He offered a few suggestions along the way.
It's a good resource for that.
And Paul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so one of the things that comes to mind when you're speaking about this process in terms of collaboration is we hear collaboration a lot. We also hear diversity and inclusion a lot, but it's important to take an example like this to break that down. So when you're talking about collaboration, one of the things you mentioned is sort of shared responsibility, so that it's not just one organization doing something for another, but that they're working together in a meaningful way to elevate the event and to make it as successful as possible.
And everyone feels empowered and excited and engaged.
Exactly. And similarly, in terms of diversity and inclusion, really finding ways, I've learned that you found ways to involve a variety of different people, different walks of life, different ages, experience levels, different stages in their lives into this process. And Paul, I understand you were actually a student when you first got involved with Concert for a Cause, is that right?
Yes, I had just finished my undergraduate in Philadelphia as a musician at the University of the Arts, and I came back to Ann Arbor and came back to my church because I grew up actually in Northside Community Church. My family's been there for over 2 decades now. And I was helping backstage with Concerts for a Cause until finally I became the chancel choir director at Northside Community Church and became a part of the committee and started being a little bit more hands-on and
very much more.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
writing emails.
and all that glorious stuff. But so it was interesting coming from a just graduated student into the church church music scene, into this outreach program that been going on for many years, but I finally got a chance to be a part of. And it's great because as a music student, churches for me were always a place to do your recitals or just a place to really, as a vocalist, to sing sacred music. But this, I don't know, this organization, this concert series was a way to use my music to benefit the community at large through all these nonprofits. So
you filled the shoes of your sister who started before you, also a musician and a student and
That's
interested in music that wasn't necessarily always religious happening in a church.
Certainly.
So basically, it sounds like this was an opportunity for you to really experience a broadening power of art making and how it can exist and influence and make a community better. So
Absolutely.
that's a pretty amazing thing. So so now you're still involved.
Yes.
Obviously, you're no longer a student. How has your role? You've mentioned a little bit about this, but how has your role evolved now that you've been involved in it? And what have you learned about this collaborative process, teamwork, all those elements?
Well, I learned that there are just so many performers and so many within the music community that are willing to be a part of these concerts, and getting them together, organizing them is like, well, it's like herding cats, to be honest. But it's really rewarding. Just for this upcoming concert, I just got involved. The Out Loud Chorus, who uses the Gym Toy Center as their place for board meetings and such, and I just joined them this past season, and it just felt really, it felt natural that they should be a part of this upcoming concert.
But you had to jump through, I shouldn't say it that way, you had to follow certain protocol and steps for the invitation. So you handled everything with the
Right.
Out Loud Chorus, including going to their board meeting.
Right. And I'm certainly more comfortable finding vocalists to be a part of our concert series. And Out Loud Chorus is not necessarily a professional group, they're a volunteer community chorus, but we've tried not just to find students or professionals. At one point, a couple years ago, we even enlisted an a cappella group from local high school, Pioneer High School, the Loreleis.
Yeah.
So we try to find many ranges of performers to just be a part of this experience.
That's great. And so in a way, your sort of, sounds like your role and your identity has evolved as well, right? Coming in, as you mentioned, with this vision of yourself as a music student, and now you're still a musician and a performer, but you've added these other hats, right?
Absolutely.
And sort of project manager, coordinator, recruiter,
Stage manager.
communicator,
Yeah.
stage management, yeah.
Yeah.
So thinking about how building our relationships can be critical for developing both personal opportunities, but also enhancing and improving our community through collaboration is a great message and an important one, and a great story that we can learn from Concert4aCause. So as we imagine, these broader opportunities for our student musicians at SMTD, as using Concert4aCause as an example of this, what are some of the lessons learned and or challenges that you've experienced in this really evolving collaborative effort over the past few years?
I'll speak to that when we expanded to include First Baptist Church, which was a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful for so many reasons. More musicians, more resources. We now have double the small budget for advertising and everything. We should say right off the bat that all of the funds we raise all go to the cause. We have
That's
never taken any back for advertising or anything. So we've generated in our budgets this resource. But when we started with First Baptist, it was wonderful, but there's such value in spontaneous conversations that you can have after church on a Sunday, and we weren't in the same building. So it was challenging at first to get into a rhythm of being able to speak with the First Baptist partners in a way that wasn't always very organized, because so many things happen in casual conversations. So the first concert was incredible. That was the George Shirley African American Art Song and Aria competition concert, and it was an amazing event, but it was so exhausting to get there, and all of the potentially hurt feelings, and someone
Yes.
wasn't asked to do this or that, but it was all worth it. Another challenge is the asking of the groups in the right way, and I would think Paul should talk about certain steps that you've had to take along the way. You ask a group, you don't get an immediate answer sometimes.
Oh no, absolutely. But there is always someone to perform these concerts.
That's true.
And we try to be thematic with our programs as well, and try to think and be mindful of those in the community who would love to be a part of that. And of course, contacting and getting confirmation from musicians, it has many challenges, but in the end, no matter how much stress there is, it always
It does
comes
always
around.
come together.
Which is
Great.
good.
And they're all performing, they're not receiving money. We've learned that musicians, we want to appreciate them though, so we offer them excellent food. And,
Always a plus.
Yes.
and
We'll
what-
work for food. Yeah.
and advertising and an
Yeah.
appreciative audience. So now that
That's important.
it's just wonderful actually to finally have a name that people recognize. The Ann Arbor Symphony helped us so much when we did a concert for also at First Baptist for their Taste of Music program, to go into farmers markets where they have food, people with, they're not food stamps anymore, but people on food and resource supplements, they would have access to free tickets, and
That's
so
great.
we did a concert for that.
Yeah.
And the Ann Arbor Symphony took our marketing vision, into a whole other universe of things that we
great.
had not done. And they have helped us, and I'm hoping will help us again by printing on the back of their program, advertisement, and
Excellent.
that was wonderful team.
So using the groups, because we were always not maybe the strongest point was our marketing, but asking for help from the groups that we benefit
and being clear about what
really
we
made a
do.
big difference.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's so many great lessons learned from your story, and many more stories to come, because I'm sure this will not be the last Concert for a Cause by any means. So thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today. We'll look forward to seeing you at the 20th Concert for a Cause, which will be September 18th
Yes.
at
4 p.m. at Northside Community Church, and one final lesson
Yeah.
is giving people different hats. So we have a fantastic
Right.
food chief, and he's going to be in the kitchen
Right.
doing everything, and yeah, it's really great.
So great food, great music, and a great cause. Can't beat it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for coming in today and talking with us.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.